Now, Sopan Joshi is a journalist and an author. He has reported on land and agriculture, water and forestry, public health and science, indigenous peoples and environment. He is the author of 5 non-fiction books, and discussing his latest book on the Indian mango with him are Miguel Braganza and Arati Das. Miguel Braganza is nicknamed Goa's plant man. He is passionate about organic farming and is a mentor to many young aspiring farmers. He has served as the secretary of the Goa Botanical Society for 20 years and was one of the founders of the Konkan Fruit Fest, which is a platform for scientists to interact with ordinary farmers. Arti Das is a freelance journalist based in Goa. She writes about art, culture, and ecology, and has been published in several publications online and physically. The Guardian and the Hindu, Scroll in, many of them. Arti said, don't mention them all, but do mention that she conducts tree walks. Like you have heritage walks, Arti conducts tree walks. So, discussing, I think we couldn't have had a better panel to discuss Sopan's book on the Indian mango. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. So we are here discussing this book. It's known as Mangifera indica, the botanical name of mango. But don't be scared of this technical or botanical title. It's a very easy read. It's very lucid. It's very interesting. It's very, you feel like eating mango while reading this book, because it is so fascinating, because it talks mango not just botanically or ecologically, but how it is part and parcel of our lives, of our culture, of our traditions, of our religion, of political history, and so many things. I think it covers everything under the sun when you say mango. So before I start asking him questions, I just want to read one small paragraph from the book, which I think in a nutshell talks about the book. It says, the mango has to carry burdens, political and non-political. It is both our great distraction and a reliable means of conversation. It is to Indians what the weather is to the English. The more we talk about it, the more it becomes our mirror. When people talk about the mango, they end up revealing something about themselves. Our mangoes define us. So I think it's a beautiful way of explaining about mango. Mr. Joshi, I have a very obvious question to start with. Like, what is it about this fruit that made you write this 350-page odd book? And I believe you took 10 years to write this book.
Good morning. I don't believe there is a plant that has a comparable relationship with any place in the world that the mango has in India, all of South Asia. How did I end up writing on this? At least 3 reviewers have said that Sopan Joshi is obsessed with mangoes. So I wish to assure everybody I'm not obsessed with mangoes.
It is not your favorite fruit.
Well, I mean, it is definitely one of my favorite fruits.
But not like you're not mad about it.
Yeah. I find the way people. Yeah. I find the way people react to the mango is very peculiar. It's like politics or cricket or Bollywood. Everybody has an opinion. And the moment you mention the mango, people will say, "Arey, what do you know about mango? Do you know what I used to do when I was a child?" And it's immediately, it's like a warp. And you mention the mango and people begin to talk about their childhood, about memories. That's one part of it. I ended up writing on the mango. I wrote a feature article in 2013, and publishers approached me that this can be expanded into a book. The reason that assignment came to me is I write on agriculture.
Yeah.
I'm an agriculture reporter. there are plenty of people who come from a certain age. So you'd remember a Doordarshan program called Krishi Darshan.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm a Krishi Darshan journalist. Nobody wants to hear about those matters. I typically write about stuff that nobody wishes to read on. Right? So I realized that for an agriculture reporter, the mango is a festival. Because suddenly you get noticed and picked up by publications who otherwise will not cast a glance in your direction. Right?
It's the
So
season
you-
of mango writing in India.
That's so, but there is a bigger story to the mango that I figured out while researching the book that I wasn't aware of, and I don't think anybody's aware of that today.
Yeah. Miguel can take it forward.
Mango is a very peculiar fruit, and I will talk about Sopan's best quote for me later on, but Jay Dubashi once wrote in the Midday, there are only two kinds of people in this world, those who love the mango and those who are slightly touched. So most of us in India belong to the group that loves the mango, and I'm very happy that we have here a discussion on this particular crop. What I would like to ask Sopan is, an entire continent of Australia has just one variety, Kensington Pride. And in India, we pride ourselves that we have 1,600 varieties of mango. What do you have as your views on this wide diversity of mango in India?
First of all, the mango is from India. What we call Mangifera indica, the common mango, is from India. There are about 70 species of the mango, and when it comes to the common mango, 1,682 varieties have been documented. About 1,000 of those are from India. Now, the mango doesn't belong to Australia.
Right.
So the history of the mango in Australia will be 150, 200, 300 years old at tops. Likewise in the Caribbean or in Latin America or in Mexico, because the mangoes travel to those parts from India. Sure, the mango is there in Southeast Asia for as long as it's been in India. There's a very interesting debate there on which can only be settled through paleobotany. So the one reason we have so many varieties of Mangifera indica is that genetically it is a very unstable and an extremely heterozygous species of the mango, which means that every seed of the mango has the potential to become a fantastic new variety.
Right. We have been talking about chance seedlings, and most of the varieties that we have here in Goa are such. Generally, of course, most mango seedlings become the inferior type of mango to most people. As children, we didn't feel so. The sucking kind of mangoes, Gota that we call, those were our favorites as kids. The table varieties come later. But you are right, we have very good varieties which have come out. And part of the credit to this, having varieties, I think so, goes to the Jesuit missionaries who came to Goa with grafting, and a little bit to the Mughals who did the Guti collection earlier, both of which you have referred to. Would you like to throw some light on this creation of varieties?
So you all must have seen an ad for a car from a car company where a military general is about to buy a tank, a military general from India, and he asks the supplier, "Kitna deti hai?" Right, because all automobile conversation in India boils down to "Kitna deti hai." Likewise, all mango conversation boils down to which variety. And a variety in a mango is not a very old thing. So it's the best information that we have today is that the skill of grafting mangoes was the oldest evidence we have is from Jesuit priests in India. That evidence is also not direct, it's indirect. So a historian like Manu, who was speaking here earlier, needs to invest some time in this to figure out a part of that story. But even so, the grafted mango was not very popular across India till about 70 years ago. And it was only the rich traders and the kings and rulers who had large tracts of land who could commit gardeners to that land who got fine varieties. Now the market for fine varieties has come up only after independence, and that is because a lot of people who were trying to protect their land from land sealing grew mango orchards on them. This is the biggest disappointment in the mango story. Most mango orchards are owned by absentee landlords today. And that then created a market for varieties. So the mango market has come up, say, after the 1970s. Before that, only the rich ate fine table variety mangoes.
Yes, sir. Mostly I think the varieties and the prominence like Alfonso or Malkurad or Baneshan or Dasheri has come when we started export. When European markets require uniformity. One god, one variety, mango. Right? We have a whole lot of variety here in India and we enjoy all of them, but they want to identify just one. Alfonso, good. Even recently they changed the name of Alfonso to Apus. They do not accept Apus in Europe. They still want it to be called Alfonso. They used to a name of their own. So maybe that generated the focus on varieties.
May I say something about mango names? It's very interesting. Every summer you have these maps circulated on social media. A map of India, mangoes slapped there with names. All of them are wrong. All of them. I've been collecting them.
They're very generic, I feel.
One, they're generic and they capitalize on the same appeal of the mango, which is like cricket or Bollywood, right? It's like a betting app. Aap Dream 11 banaiye. So it's actually like a Dream 11 of mangoes that people make, right? It's a game that they're playing. Let me give you an example of what names mean in mango names mean, variety names. The hapus on the west coast, or Alfonso, is called badami in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. They grow a mango there, which is called Banganapalli. That's called badami here. Banganapalli itself is called Benishan in Telangana. And it's called Safeda in North India, which has another Safeda, which is a small mango grown around Lucknow, which itself is called Dinga in Punjab. There is a variety grown in northern Bengal, which is in Bangla called Langda, specifically in Malda. So you travel 200 kilometers, 100 kilometers west of Malda, and the same variety is called Malda. You go further and it's again called Langda. But if you cross the Ganga, go to North Bihar, the same variety is called Kapuria. Right? So when you start tackling mango names, just remember all names are relative and all names at best give you a small picture of what the mango is about.
In your book, I found what...
Just one other. There's a mango called Bombay Green, right? It is sold by the same maps that you see. They'll have Bombay Green, Bombay and Siroli. They're all the same mangoes.
So in your book, you also mention beautifully about the different aspects of the mango tree, like the leaves. Like there's a strong tradition of using leaves for religious ceremonies in Hindu traditions. We have this kalash. Then we decorate our houses with, during Diwali, Dashera, with marigold flowers. Even in Goa, like we have this concept of matori, which is like a canopy suspended above Ganesh idol. It is decorated with vegetables and fruits, seasonal ones. And it is incomplete if you do not put mango leaves around it. So mango has this very intricate connection with our culture. But what I want to focus more on the flowers. Like you beautifully explain about the mango inflorescence and flowering and how in North India it coincides with the coming of the Basant Utsav. And you mentioned about Kamdev, how he uses one of his main arrows of inflorescence of mango flowers, and also different aspects about it. But as a general public, we do not look at flowers, we only look at its fruit. So would you like to share some light on the flowers of mangoes? Because I found like it's very fascinating.
The talk of mango varieties and the fine fruit begins only in the late medieval period, when people from Central Asia are coming in and noticing the fruit. Before that, the greatest prose that you will find on mangoes, and even generally, has to do with the mango flower. And Indians have been nuts about the mango flower. I mean, Kalidas, if you read him, describes Shakuntala's fingers as the tender shoots of a mango tree. Describe the king as a statist mango tree. The greatest festival in India was the Spring Festival. And that festival was committed to one deity who's most closely related to the mango, and that is Kamadev. Kamadev is a Vedic deity. He's a deity of sex, of procreation, of desire. And Kamadev, there's a famous story, Shiva burned down Kamadev. I mean, Kamadev had been commissioned by Parvati and the other gods to get Shiva to wake up. And Shiva got angry with Kamadev, he burnt him down. But then Parvati and Kamadev's wives beg him to bring him back to life because the world is turned loveless. So Shiva revives him, but says that you shall remain invisible. And the fire is reflected towards the moon, the mango tree, the honeybee, to cool it down. So Kamadeva goes around with an arrow that is made of sugarcane. The string is made of honeybees. And he has 5 flowers. The most potent flower from there is the mango flower. So you will see, and in spring festivities in India, it was largely women who went and gave mango flowers to Kamadev. Essentially, this is rearmament, lock and load. Right? Here comes your festival. Vasant is a friend of Kamadev. And Vasant in Sanskrit means the same thing as spring in Latin. Something that emerges suddenly. So this was like a 2-month festival in India that we've completely forgotten. We remember one thing out of it, which is Holi, which will come next month. But this was a grand festival, and every part of the country celebrated it in different ways. We don't document it because history is about kings.
Yeah.
Right? We don't listen to our ordinary people. We don't focus any attention on them. And it's only the mango that gets, a Krishi Darshan journalist like me to Goa and the Goa Literature Festival. Otherwise, I don't stand a hope in hell.
Vasant Habba is still a big thing in Karnataka. And I think it's a very good coincidence that we are discussing mango today, and it is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Mango is a fruit of desire. And not just desire, what Kamadev, what Sopan writes is about also Yamraj. When someone is very sick and about to die and is very severely diabetic, still ask for mango to eat. And also he narrates one incident where when the pind is kept, the crows don't come for it, and they put a little bit of amras over it, and the crows take it off. So the desire, how strong in humans, in God, in crows.
Absolutely. There is Kamadeva is, the counterpart to Kamadeva is Eros or Cupid in the Greco-Roman tradition. And even folk culture has had those characters. For example, Puck was a fairy. And the most famous depiction is in William Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. What Puck is doing with the love juice, goes and puts love juice on people's eyes, and when they wake up, they fall in love with the first thing they see. That's exactly what Kamadeva has been doing for centuries. Right? But this is what the mango is. The one religion that's most deeply related to the mango is not the Vedic religion. It's Buddhism. Because after attaining enlightenment, Buddha gave this first sermon in a mango orchard north of Varanasi, which is today called Sarnath. And there he talked about something called Dharma Chakra, which then was interpreted by Emperor Ashok and now graces our national flag and our national emblem. So even those ideas get articulated in mango orchards in India. But the most munificent, Manu was describing this earlier, the spread of Buddhism. The spread of Buddhism is deeply linked to the spread of Indian mango, because the same ambassadors took mangoes as gifts. And but the big reason we get so excited about the mango, we don't know. We don't realize it because mango was the greatest infrastructure in this country. And that was the ordinary mango, the seedling mango. Mango groves is where a wedding party came and stayed. Bharat, which comes from Vara Yatra. Most parts of India, the wedding party stayed in the mango grove. And these were groves. The Amrai is a different culture from the Vatika. The Vatika is kings and merchants and people with resources. But it's not just the kings who had mangoes. Ordinary people everywhere in this country had mangoes. For example, so many wars have been fought in mango orchards. I was a little perplexed. Battle of Chausa, Plassey, Lakhi Bagh, the Battle of Plassey, Palashi, First Battle of Panipat, mango orchard. Second Battle of Panipat, mango orchard. Third Battle of Panipat, mango orchard. Alexander comes to India. His soldiers get dysentery because they've eaten a funny fruit. Theophrastus writes this, right? And then Alexander forbids his soldiers from having those mangoes, and then he goes back. Some people say, this happened, that happened. I say it's mangoes. You can't handle them, you can't live here. If you can handle the mango, you can live here. But it goes further. Like, so, see, mango is there with Kamadeva. Mango is there with Buddha. One is the pinnacle of attachment. The other is the pinnacle of detachment. Everything in this country has to be seen in the mirror of a mango. Our politics, our diplomacy, weddings. Several parts of this country, when a person died, the way to cremate them was to cut a seedling mango and prepare a funeral pyre out of that. And how are people born? Because Kamadeva's mango arrows seduce them to make love. Mango is like, you know, you have these restaurants that are farm to fork. Mango culturally is our farm to fork in this country. And I can't see a parallel relationship in any other place with one plant. It's everywhere. I mean, our national flag. It's in Bangladesh's national anthem has the mango. It's everywhere. I mean, in Shanti Niketan, they give you, you get your degrees in a mango grove.
We also give, they also used to give Estonia Scholaris twig before.
Yeah, you're right. Saptaparni leaves.
Saptaparni, yeah.
Yeah, but it's in a mango grove.
Okay. I just had a little query about this Battle of Plassey. It is, some say it is in the land of the Palash tree. So like, and you mentioned mango groves. So like, was the, like...
The village is called Palashi. No matter what a village was called in India, it had a mango grove.
Okay.
Because
so
the
you are
village,
not very far from a mango grove.
So that's the reason all the wars are happening around mango groves. Because no matter where you are in this country, you're close to a mango grove. At least earlier. All those mango groves have been cut, by the way.
Mm.
And they were cut during the British administration. So what happens is, there are two different cultures. There is the ordinary people who have the culture of the grove, which is deeply linked to everything in village life and town life. The rich have the resources to set up a Vatika. Vatika is like an arbor, arboretum. Vat is both the banyan tree, but a generic name for all trees. So Vat has Vatika, right? Panchavati, Upvan, Van, Udyan. These were set up by rich people, and these were places to grow medicinal plants.
Okay.
That is also infrastructure, but that's infrastructure of the rich. The the ordinary had their own infrastructure with the mango. I mean, not till very recently. There was a mango grove that was actually a hockey stadium in central India. It was surrounded by mango trees. In the middle, the players played hockey. The spectators sat under mango trees.
Wow.
There is a Hijroki Amrai. If you go to the Parsi Tower of Silence near Malabar Hill in Bombay,
Yeah.
it's got very old mango seedling trees. Right? Wherever you go, you will see the mango, but we've forgotten what the mango means. Our only engagement with the mango now
It's
is
a
as
cash crop,
consumers
yeah.
of mango varieties.
Yeah.
But the excitement comes because the mango is naturally exciting to all Indians. We grow up feeling that excitement around the mango. And that is not only because of the fruit. That's because the mango was the anchor of our social, cultural life. It's not just that. Cities were built around mango groves and water bodies. And there were these street,
Thandi Sadak you mentioned.
road
Yeah.
which was lined with mango trees, and this was called Thandi Sadak. Most cities in North India have a Thandi Sadak. Today, if you search Thandi Sadak on YouTube, it comes up only in horror shows. Right? But Delhi had a Thandi Sadak, Lucknow had it, Hisar still does, Rampur still does, Nainital does. Because this was, people have realized all along that you are happy only in your natural state. In the Western tradition, which is actually a gardening tradition, it's the Garden of Eden. India, being a subtropical country, we are
More
a forest
foresters,
people.
Yeah.
Aranyak. So our ideal from the old times has been Kailas Mansarovar.
Okay.
Now Kailas comes from, the word itself comes from joy. Lasya. Lasya is the melodic dance of Parvati, not Shiva's fierce thunder.
Okay.
Right? So the state of being joyous and having a water body, that's the pride, was an ideal. That was like Garden of Eden. So Garden of Eden goes into all manner of gardening cultures. Babar is coming from Central Asia, which is right in the middle of a horticultural superhighway. Either side of Central Asia are ancient gardening superpowers. Iran to the west and China to the east. And there's plenty of solid scholarship that shows that this was actually an agricultural and a horticultural superhighway since prehistoric times. So that culture, when it comes to India, through Babar and in another way through Jesuit priests, invests the forest culture with a new kind of skill in gardening. But the amrai of ordinary people was not cut down till the British came in. It was the zamindars who chopped down all the amrais in India. You can't find an amrai to save your life now.
When we talk about mango now, the image in our mind is of a ripe mango that we are going to cut and eat. But you ask any child or any pregnant woman what mango she would like to eat, and it's always a raw mango. And raw mango has been a part of our culture for a very long time. Your views on that?
There are two things about the mango. One person who describes this beautifully is Amir Khusro. He says mango is the only fruit which is eaten in every state. Whether it's raw, it's ripe, overripe, preserved, eaten through the year, pickled. So that's one. The association of the mango with pregnant women actually has a much older cultural context. It has to do with what was called the dohada, or the pregnancy craving of women. And this was a deep part of the spring festival. So if you go and check orchards set up in North India by Muslim landowners or Hindu, you'll hear old stories of how they set it up. Because they'd call whoever was the gardener, they'll call his wife or the youngest bride in that area to come and put in the first tree. Because the mango was the primary tree of the Spring Festival, and the mango flower was the symbol of hope for a new year in India. That's the reason our financial year still begins on the 1st of April. Because our New Years begin in spring, most New Years. I mean, this country is way too big and everything you believe to be true about it, the opposite of that is also going to be true somewhere else. Right? It's a very big, very complex country. Just to get a sample of the mango culture took me 10 years. But this is not, I promise you, there are people, the harshest thing I've read in the 25 or so reviews that I've read on this book till now is that it gets into too many details of elites fighting over the mango and whatnot. It works better when the romance of the mango is evoked. Turns out a book by that title came out in 2002. And that's by Kusum Budhwar, who's done a fantastic job of documenting the cultural role of the mango. But that's not the best book on the mango. That's not the most comprehensive one. That's by P. Thankappan Nair, who died last year, who spent 30 years collecting mango references. It's called The Mango in Indian Life and Culture. It came out in 1995. In the duration that this book came out, July? 2 months after this, another book came out on the mango.
Oh.
We can't get enough of the mango.
Absolutely. Mango is something that everyone craves for. And it's even in Goa, we have another version of the mango, the pickled in brine mango. Chapleche Tor, if you talk about any person above the age of 50 here, the mouth will water. Because that is something that you always had with kanji. And mango has lots of memories. You also spoke about panna and the other things which are made out of mango, which we...
Panna is actually very old. The Sanskrit name is prapanak. And it's a mango pulp, essentially. But the best best pickled mango in brines, Miguel sir will forgive me for saying this, come from coastal Karnataka, not Goa. And don't ever mention this to a person from Udupi or Mangalore or whatever. If you say that we have good brine, good mango pickle in brine in Goa, they'll blow a fuse and then they'll say, you come with me, you bloody come with me. I will show you. Because there are specific mango varieties which have been honed and cultured over generations for just that brine pickle. Right? And there are special groves for those mangoes.
Absolutely. And that's coming to Goa also. There is one young gentleman by the name of Rajat Prabhu who's grafting the pickled mango varieties separately. Yeah. Aarti?
Yeah. I want to get little technical now. In your book there is a lot of mention about paleobotany and everything. One thing I really was fascinated that you spoke about angiosperms. Angiosperms are the plants, the flowering plants, which came much later in evolution, and I think there are 3 lakh species now of angiosperms in the world, if I'm not wrong. So you said they have a very uncanny grip over primates. And you mentioned that beautifully in the book. So can you briefly tell about it?
I think before that, it's worth a while to show how the book is structured. It has a prologue and an epilogue and 18 chapters. They're split into 3 books. Book 1 is called The Fruit of India, which is a cultural inquiry into the mango. It opens with how people go mad in mango season. Then it goes on to varieties and how the varieties we know came to be and what's the difference there. A lot of people are under this serious error that India didn't have grafting. The oldest writing of grafting is from India and China. And when grafting, there are cultural historians in the UK who've documented this in English books, forget about books in Italian and whatnot, that there was a very old grafting culture in India. But for some reason, the mango was not grafted.
Were these like cultural reasons because it was sacred in a way? Like...
We don't know, but I can venture a guess. My guess is that culturally we were willing to take our chances with the mango. We were reconciled to its inherent variability. Right? And because the mango wasn't just a fruit, it gave you everything. It gave you timber, it gave you shade. All kings, when they wanted to engage in propaganda since the ancient times, they told people about the mango groves they had planted for people. Ashoka has led this in his pillars. You will read about all manner of kings saying, we planted mango groves, we are good kings. Because a way to show people that we are good kings is to give them a mango grove. So from there it goes into culture. And the chapter is called Escaping Our Refugee Camps. This is the role of the mango grove in Indian towns and villages. Then it goes to a season. The chapter is called Season, a festival in search of revelers, which is the greatest festival in India, which is unknown now. Nobody knows about it. And it had to do with the mango more than anything else. Religion, bones of a civilization. History, the great leveler. This is how kings have dealt with the mango. And then the last chapter in culture is origin, where we get into paleobotany and where the oldest fossils are being found. The oldest mango fossil is from sediment that is dated to between 56 to 59 million years ago. And it was found in Meghalaya. No fossil older than 25 million years ago has been found outside of India, which is when the land connection between the Indian plate and the Asian plate occurred. So the culture chapter ends with that. The book 2 is called The Fruit of Wilderness. It starts with a chapter on the evolution of angiosperms, which is flowering plants. The mango is a flowering plant in a family that's called Anacardiaceae, which means out-hanging heart again. Yeah, the mango has been compared with breasts, female breasts, male genitals, scrotum. There is not a part of our body that has not been likened to some part of the mango. After the angiosperm chapter comes a chapter on primates and how the primate order is defined by trees that bear fruit. And this has to do with the very old theories of primate evolution. There was an older theory, which is called man the hunter, always a man, right? Man the hunter, which said that we have forward-facing eyes, which is very rare among mammals, because we were hunters. And then in 1992, this fascinating scientist called Bob Sussman, I hope you read about him, even if you don't read the book. Such scientists are very rare. He brought in a new theory saying that we are defined by fleshy fruits. And today, that's the dominant theory. The reason we have our eyes in front of our heads, not on the sides, on the orbits, it's called orbital convergence. It's because of fleshy fruits. Our grasping hands, our large brain case, right? Our capacity to metabolize alcohol. I saw all of you last evening. Our capacity for sugar, right? It comes from mother's milk, but it's fostered by fruits, right? So physiologically, we've been shaped by fleshy fruits. And it's not just that. Fruits were an evolutionary tool for the birds to begin with. Berries. But those were largely colored black and red. Once trees realized that there is this new order of animals which can see red, primates are the only order of placental mammals who can see red. It's a miracle. They created a new color palette for primates. So seeds of fruits, seeds of trees that have fruits colored orange, yellow, or brown largely rely on primates. So the trees actually created a new color code for us. And what's the mango's color? Red, orange, yellow. That's largely the palette, right? And so it's the trees that shaped us. But we prefer to think that we are in charge. So may I read a part of the ecology chapter? The ecology chapter is called Bio-Casino. And no other fruits. No, I'll start with. I'm sorry, it's a big book. Yeah, mango scientists have it slightly easy, holding down permanent jobs, but the mango frustrates them to no end. The simplest experiment can take months or years to test out, and the odds are poor even then. As attractive as the mango tree is for commercial and cultural reasons, it is a nightmare for a horticulturist looking for control. Countless microbes and insects have complex relationships with the mango. The tree cannot do without them, but they can make its life difficult. Each tree is a casino of variable abiotic conditions. Innumerable biotic players try their hand at it. Each victory results in several losses to other players. Every player has a sporting chance. Modern science and horticulture give us the impression that we run this casino. But the truth is, we are also one of the numerous players gambling on the tree. All our technological advances cannot fix the play in our favor, not with any consistency anyway. In this casino, as in all others, the house always wins, regardless of the outcome for each gambler. The house has built this casino tree over millions of years. Each prize mango fruit that we devour is a small victory against pests and diseases. The fruit fly or anthracnose collect their winnings from each mango that they infest. In the biological casino of the mango tree, the house is not us. It is the invisible hand of ecology that plays us. Our odds improve when we go along with it. When we try to control the house, it has ways to sucker us into playing impossible odds. Desire readily turns into a gambling addiction. If I were to think of two words that define this book, which was my title, but the publisher didn't agree, it was risk and desire. Those are the two words you hear everywhere with regard to the mango. There's a lot of risk involved in it, and there is a desire that propels you.
Absolutely. Mango is a fruit that makes you think of lots of things. And desire always makes us think of the heart. However, I would like to make one mention that the word anacardium comes from the heart is what most people feel, but those who have been to NIO will remember that it's known as cardium. The word cardium also means seashell. And anacardium is from Anacardium occidentale, that's the cashew, which has a seashell-like fruit hanging outside. So anacardium is out-hanging shell, though it could mean in Latin also an out-hanging heart.
Well, case,
Case.
right?
Yeah.
The closest term is case. So from case, it can go to shell or it can go to heart.
Heart, yes.
That's why we go to cardiologists.
Yeah, correct.
This is my last question before I open to audience. You spoke about mango groves and amrais and everything. You also spoke how they were cut down. And mango is one fruit which is very susceptible to the climatic conditions. Like, if there's too much of fog or too much of rain, too much of heat, everything impacts it. So how you look at this beloved fruit of ours amidst this current issue of climate change? We are already facing a lot of erratic climatic conditions with monsoons in Goa. We had the highest monsoon in Goa this time. So how you look at the future of mangoes, like, when it comes to climate change?
Climate change affects everything. It's just that we notice the mango. Right? That's the way it works. It affects everything, and climate change controls the mango because it's not hit upon a stable genetic formula of reproduction. The mango flower is very sensitive to temperature, right? And mango being highly heterozygous, it compulsorily cross-pollinates. It cannot self-pollinate, which means that a slight shift in the physical conditions, what's called abiotic stress, shifts the reproductive instinct of the mango tree. Now, we can get into many details there, but climate change is going to hit all of us. That's something, I mean, I've been covering that for 25 years, right? It's just that it lies outside of human cognition. Human cognition can handle weather. Climate is not something we can handle.
Why I mentioned because people are emotionally attached to mangoes, so because of that, at least they will start thinking seriously about climate change.
Yeah, I think within a week you'll get newspaper headlines saying mango crop delayed. Reasons. Yeah, they already have started. Yes.
Have you seen anybody talk about what the cashew crop is going to be like? Or sapota? Or grapes?
Mango. It's always mango. In Goa, it's always mango.
Also, if you need to insult somebody, you need to insult their mangoes. It works like, if you look at the common curse words, they always insult the female members of your family. Right? I mean, has to be a mother or a sister or a daughter somewhere. The mango's like that. You can use the mango to insult other people. And they will feel insulted and they will retort. I mean, that's how Twitter gets by.
Now we open the floor for questions, like anybody has any questions. Levi?
Speak.
Thank you very much. My name is David Kaiser. I'm from Uganda. It's a very lovely, sweet talk on mangoes. There are two things that I wanted to ask. The first one is the mango craving. I'm glad you mentioned it, although you explained it in a cultural context. I have 2 children, and I would like to know why I had to wake up in the middle of the night to look for raw mangoes. Yes, but it's also quite relieving to know that we work for mangoes. I mean, how would you explain the advantage of that to the mango? That I have to wake up in the middle of the night to go look for raw mangoes because my wife wants it. Thank you.
Wonderful questions, both of them. When it comes to your children, I'll just say, I mean, we are primates. There's nothing dearer to primates than fruits. And I know we don't like to see ourselves as primates, but, and your second question, I can answer with the conclusion of the chapter on angiosperms. The chapter on primates, sorry. We do not like to see ourselves as primates shaped by fruiting trees. We like to believe we are in control, civilized and rational and scientific, a view not supported by science. Over the past 10 millennia, we have colonized the entire planet. Our ancestors have created diverse fields of inquiry, allowing us to gather and record knowledge generation after generation. We worship our ancestors, displaying them in paintings and sculptures in public spaces, emperors and explorers who founded empires, philosophers who conjured classical cultures, prophets who created religions, founding fathers who created nations, lawgivers and makers of constitutions, ideologues who gave birth to political movements, scientists who laid down the secrets of the universe in magically pithy formulae, inventors who gave us the printing press and the internet. Hindus have reserve a special fortnight before the festive season for the fathers, Pitra Paksh, followed by a 9-day celebration for the mothers, Matra Paksh. Ancestor worship permeates each and every human field except our natural history. Evidence showing our descent from tree-dwelling primates mounts day by day, but far from acknowledging it, we keep ourselves firewalled, embarrassed by a humble arboreal origin. Words like ape, simian, and monkey are derogatory, like villager, bumpkin, and wild. Desperate to keep the natural world at a civilized arm's length, we look for ancestors who suit our aspirations. But wilderness does not leave us. The sign of corporate success is a corner office atop a skyscraper or a penthouse, gazing down at downtown bustle. Exactly how primates see the world from treetops. For a vacation, we need to escape to a forest. Joy is still cooking outdoors in large groups. To seduce a mate, we use flowers. Vegetative metaphor decorates our romantic verse. For a touch of excitement, we compare our sex organs with fruits and flowers, our desire for fleshy fruits has taken them across the world, far beyond their natural habitats. The apple of Kazakhstan is now grown in Australia and the Americas. The mango has spread across the tropics and the subtropics. Fruit trees are planted wherever conditions permit. When we present a basket of mangoes to grease a business relationship, we use a very old partnership. Even as we cut down the forest, we convert fields into mango orchards. We plant mango seeds in the plains, on mountains, plateaus, and in deserts. We graft mango branches and grow them in gardens, looking after them like our children. We set up university departments to research them. We write books on the mango, even though it remains a wild and untamed partner. I cannot find a more successful example of human resource management. So it's the mangoes that control us.
This is regarding the names of mangoes. In Goa, in Konkani, we have a male amo, and for female we call it ambuli or amoli, whatever it is. So I would like to know if in Hindi we have similar type of thing, the names, regarding the names. Because this has been used very creatively by our writers also. Like, for example, Damodar Mauzo, he has, in one of his novel, he is showing love between a burger and a ambuli.
That's actually a very old device. You'll find it in Kalidas, where the king is the tree and the vine is the queen, right? So that's all over the place. The more remarkable thing, I mean, it's no surprise that mango is all over sexual metaphor since ancient times. The remarkable thing is the mango was used to depict Buddha. When Xuanzang came to Sarnath, the 140-foot gate, on top of the gate was a golden mango to represent the Buddha. So the mango is everything, right? It's male, it's female. There are parts on that, right? It's then the Aam Aadmi, why it's used. So the old names for the mango are manga in Tamil and amra in Sanskrit. Now amr gets rounded off to am, but then there's a separate word that comes from Arabic, which is avam. Avam means that's marginal, spread out all over, not central, right? And the singular of avam is am. Hence Aam Aadmi, I mean, there is a party, I believe. So those kind of things just keep giving all over. I mean, you watch a film like Bend It Like Beckham. So a seamstress is dressing up the bride's sister, and she's commenting on the size of her breasts. And she says that her stitching will make her breast appear like juicy mangoes instead of mosquito bites. Right? So it's all over the place. There are tribal traditions in which they say the mango originated from the testicle of the unconsummated first male.
That's how we use in Konkani. The raw mango seed koi is the same word used for testicles.
And in Vashi Mandi, you'll have traders telling you, is dhande mein najar gul to anda gul. That's also there.
The bread of us. You take that in. I forgot to ask you yesterday.
Hello, I forgot to ask you yesterday. Regarding this climate change, I've noticed it since 2020 at my mango orchard, which you actually visited yesterday. And is it the same in the north, where you're based?
Yes.
Like I'll tell you, in 2020, I sold around 150,000 mangoes retail. Last year, it was 20,000. So, I don't know, this year it seems a little more promising, but we'll see.
I believe one reason the fruit wasn't the central focus of mango orchards and trees earlier is people had accepted this variability. See, the mango's reproductive system is highly variable. The mango has not hit upon a stable reproduction formula over its evolutionary course. So these problems are They're in some form or the other all over the place. The varieties that don't face these, they are the most bland varieties. So if you want flavorful, exciting varieties, most of them are like this. I mean, the most prized mangoes in India will be Langda and Alfonso. Both are terrible at their reproductive system. The stable ones are Neelam and Totapuri, which don't have a market other than pulping. So this instability, some of this is innate, some of it is induced by climate change. I can give a more detailed answer to your question over tea.
Are there any more questions or?
It's like this, you know.
So the people don't. Can you get me?
I can tell you.
Can you hear me? Yes, thank you for the talk. It was really nice. Just one curiosity. I don't know if it makes any sense. I guess not, but I'm from Brazil, and in Brazil we believe that if you eat mango and you mix with milk, you get very sick and die. So I was so surprised when I came here first and that people were having mango shakes. I was like, what? Mango shakes? And I mean, I didn't understand how this meat came up. Maybe it's for people not to have the mangoes and, so they can harvest it. For the slaves especially, not to eat the mangoes and mix with the milk. It could be like that.
What part of Brazil?
I'm from São Paulo, but originally from the border with Paraguay.
Okay. So both the milk that you have there comes from Indian cows?
Yes, Indian
and
cows.
the mangoes also from India?
Probably, yeah.
So hear it from an Indian, the mango and milk go very well together. There are many cultures that will tell you that you should not have mango without milk. Otherwise, you'll have an allergic reaction. Mango comes from a family that has pretty fierce cousins. Poison ivy, cashew, lots of irritants there. So milk is supposed to tamper down the irritants.
So we got it the wrong way out.
Upside the head.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
No.
I haven't read Mangifera. There's one more.
Claude said, well, I want to use opinion of Peter. We have to be.
As a sort of authority on mango now, be very careful how you answer this question. You have not mentioned any Goan mango at all, including the Mangilad, which is the best in the world. And please remember, but nevertheless, I'll still ask you, what, in your opinion, is the best don't mention the Chausa from Pakistan because we'll get you into trouble. But remember that you are talking, Goan location.
So I anticipated this question. It's been asked of me many times over. I'll end with the last two paragraphs of the book. I think that's a safe conclusion. Which mango variety is the best? I'm often asked by people expecting well-formed sound bites or objective analysis from vast data sets. I avoid telling my Malvi mango story because it sounds sentimental. I spin some story to match the mood of the gathering and acquit myself. There are so many delightful mango varieties in India and so many stories about each one. See it from any angle. You will find what you seek and also the exact opposite of that. But the honest truth, that's complicated and highly subjective. No matter how much you might have spent on an exotic variety, a child somewhere might be running away with a perfect mango they got off a tree or a ripening pile while the caretaker wasn't looking. In that risk lies the purest joy. Desire is sometimes a stone flung at a tree that a bipedal primate struggles to climb. Sometimes it's a chance mango stone thrown away by a child who ate the flesh containing the seed of a sensational variety that nobody has heard of yet. I can give a different answer if you want. Which doesn't have to do with mangoes. My father was traveling in Kashmir with a friend, and it was harvest season for apples. So my father said, I want to have an apple. They stopped the cab. They got out. He said, I'll go look for the gardener. He said, don't look for the gardener. If you get a fruit by permission, it doesn't taste that well. So they got one fruit each, and the gardener showed up right on point. So in Kashmiri, his friend told him that this is what he said. The gardener started laughing. He gathered a basket full of apples and gifted it to them. So the best fruit is the one that we find accidentally, not the one that we buy. Thank you.
Anyway, so I haven't read Mangifera indica, but I'm sure all of you will agree that if Sopan Joshi writes half as well as he speaks, the book will be a fascinating read. And the excerpts that he read, I think, prove that. On behalf of Goa writers, I thank Sopan, I thank Aarti, and I thank Miguel and all of you for your participation.